Yeah, so this is a re-release of the 2015 ACRONYM Lunar Force 1. That was actually the first shoe we did with Nike, and it's pretty much an intervention into the shoe. We wanted to make the shoe as different as possible, but still have it completely recognizable as an Air Force One. So when we first got the shoe, rather than trying to just do colorways and affect it that way, we wanted to address the functionality of the shoe because that's our thing. And then donning and doffing was the original idea, and the zipper came right after that. So then we just took a pair of scissors, chopped it open, and once we found the position that worked the best, what we really liked about it was how raw that was, and so we left it like that. And then the first colorway was actually with the heel in the bright orange, and we separated that by using a VacTech molded heel unit that mirrors the shape of the original leather parts, and that's also here on this version, but now for this edition, all in white. Yeah, so what happened was that the ComplexCon, Nike had set up the Maker Studio, and one of the things you could do at the Maker Studio, they had a little dyeing facility, and I was over there with Umid and Ian from ACRONYM Studio, and all of us had just gotten the shoes, and we were like, cool. So we all just took them off our feet, literally, threw them in, and also without talking to each other, we all did them in pink, so there's 3 of them. And mine are actually a sample, so they actually dye different. The other 2 actually, the heel is a different tone, so they have kind of a color break. Mine is so slight differences, but yeah, they turned out great. So fun. Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah, we never really had a normal hiring process. Everyone who's at the studio now sort of just arrived there kind of accidentally. A lot of people we've known for years, and was like, oh, you need a desk, come hang out, and then realize, oh, you're a graphic designer, fantastic. And now with the profile of the brand changing, we get a lot of applications, and for interns, for young designers. Unfortunately, the studio is still so small. There's like literally nowhere there for them to sit. Mm-hmm. So we're working on that, and we will expand at some point, and then have some sort of more rigorous process for screening and for interacting with people. But at the moment, there is actually it's just totally random. I don't know how to describe it. I wish I had a better answer.
It was terrible. It was super easy to work together because we used to work together for years. So Johanna was one of the senior designers at ACRONYM for 6 years.
Almost 8 years, yeah.
Longer, longer than I thought. Yeah. So she was at ACRONYM, then she did her own Nike collab collection, and then went to Nike and became
Senior Design Director for Sportswear. Women's apparel, we just always wanted to build a point of view around women's apparel, so that was a great opportunity to do this now. And also with the new setup, me being at Nike and Errolson, obviously a great partner for ACG, to kind of come together in our very much collage working style, how we always work together. It was a very unique situation to do that and finally create something for him or her, because it's, of course, it's not only about doing something specific only for women. I think equally men's and women can provide or just benefit from bringing in a different point of view through the women's lens too.
I think because we designed the collection together, so we didn't just design the men's collection, the women's collection. We both sat down. Actually, Anna came over to Berlin from Portland and worked in the studio a couple of weeks when we kicked it off, and we kind of conceived the whole thing as one collection, and then executed obviously for the different parts. But I think the really cool thing about that now is when we see people's reactions to the collection at these early stages, it's cool because the girls pick up some of the guy stuff, the guys actually like the girl stuff, and it's like, oh, great. Yeah, so that definitely worked out. Yeah. That's definitely a big thing with our work in general, and particularly with ACG, we were trying to get this, all conditions fit and all conditions state, and this sort of whole mindset or approach to apparel. And the big thing about that is actually transition. So not just being able to do something, but being able to switch from one thing to the other thing quickly, to the details. So you've got the carrying straps. You can doff the jacket when you go inside and it's hot. It just hangs off your shoulders. You go back outside, it's cold. You can just put it back on. You don't have to unhook anything or all that stuff. So we try to make it as smooth as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always especially those components of you can wear those pieces in different stages. Every piece kind of needs to benefit. Have those if it's the piece itself to being transitional, or if it's details on the garment that you can adjust, adopt some of those details to kind of really react on the change of environment or how you feel in that garment. That's always reflected in details, but also by the selection of styles we create too. For me, for the women's side is definitely the best. Even though that I am extremely excited to kind of deliver, of course, the 3.3-in-1 Gore-Tex parka for her, because we're always cold. We also want to be protected. We hardly have any proper outerwear that we receive for women's. The vest for me is so unique because when we talk about transitional stages, that's the piece that really follows me going from indoors and outdoors, but also it's a hybrid for me personally between a piece of accessory. Basically, it's a transition between a bag and a piece of apparel.
I'm sure it's for you too, but it's hard for me to pick a favorite piece because ACG is such a tight capsule that every single thing that's in there has a reason. So I love the cargo pants, I love the t-shirt, all of that stuff. But obviously the standout is for sure this season the Alpine jacket in the new all-over print and colors. Pretty excited to see how people react to that. It's definitely, hopefully, not what people expected. And yeah.